If I were to ask you, what is the greatest invention of the 20th century? You might say the internet or the airplane. But the shocking answer is the white chicken. The chicken you see today did not even exist 70 years ago. It is not a natural creature, but rather a complete human design that emerged from laboratories after the World War, transforming from a lean jungle fowl into a meat-producing machine that feeds billions. But how did this transformation happen? Why do only 3 companies monopolize the genetic secret of this bird? And most importantly, what does this chicken have to do with the rise of a superbug that threatens human life and cannot be defeated by antibiotics? And how did it turn from a luxury meal for the wealthy into the cheapest protein on planet Earth? All this and more we will discover in today's video. But before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Before World War II, chicken was not a regular meal. It was a guest that only appeared on major occasions. Back then, chickens were raised solely for egg production and were not eaten until they grew old and stopped producing. As a result, their meat was very tough and difficult to chew. During that era, buying chicken to eat was a luxury that only the wealthy could afford. Farms resembled what we call today free-range chicken, small flocks with diverse breeds and different feather colors, where each farmer took pride in his breed as a precious family heritage. Chicken was never raised for its meat. Rather, it was a storage house for eggs, and it was only slaughtered after years to be the main dish for an exceptional dinner. But then the war came and turned everything upside down. With the outbreak of World War II, America began shipping tons of beef and pork to Europe, leaving American citizens facing a severe protein shortage. As soldiers returned and the baby boom began, finding cheap and filling food became everyone's primary concern. The solution came from an unexpected place: A&P Supermarkets. This giant chain, which owned more than 4,500 stores at the time, realized that chicken was the savior. In 1944, its research director, Howard C. Pierce, made a historic statement: "We need a chicken with broad breasts like a turkey." This single sentence was the spark that ignited the strangest contest of the 20th century. In 1945, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, in cooperation with the A&P Company, launched a strange national competition titled The Chicken of Tomorrow. The goal was explicit: engineer a chicken that grows at lightning speed, consumes less feed, and produces abundant meat in the breast and thighs. The prize was $10,000, a massive sum at the time, which motivated scientists and farmers to invent a super chicken that would transform poultry from a rare luxury for the wealthy into a cheap, daily protein for everyone on the planet. It was not just a contest, but a scientific Olympiad for poultry in which universities and government institutions participated. To ensure fairness, contestants did not send chickens, but rather eggs. 720 eggs from each participant were placed in completely identical conditions. At the final judgment, the chickens underwent a rigorous evaluation covering 18 criteria, ranging from growth speed to skin appearance and fat distribution. In June 1948, in a strange scene on a stage in Delaware, frozen chicken carcasses were lined up for the announcement of the results. Charles Van Tress won first place with his creation of a hybrid breed, while the runner-up shocked everyone: young Henry Salio, the son of an Italian immigrant who started his dream in a coop made from an old piano. His white chicken was the most aesthetically perfect and precise, altering the face of this industry forever. The secret recipe was gathered from 3 breeds, each granting the modern chicken a superhuman genetic advantage. First, the English Cornish breed, the muscle source that gave the chicken that broad breast and massive meat mass. Second, the American New Hampshire breed, the speed engine that added genes for insane growth and high immunity, allowing the birds to endure living in overcrowded farms and reach slaughter weight in record time. Third, the White Plymouth Rock breed, the secret of appearance. Its mission was purely visual, as it gave the bird its pure white feathers, allowing the skin to appear clean and appealing on supermarket shelves without dark spots that would turn consumers away. By combining England's muscle, America's speed, and the pristine white color, the industrial chicken that conquered the world's dinner tables was born. With the announcement of these results, the contest drew to a close, but a new and terrifying chapter in human history had just begun. And this is exactly where the real story started. After the contest, Henry Salio set off to build the Arbor Acres empire, the creator of the white chicken that fills our markets today. But why is the chicken always white? The reason is purely practical. White feathers do not leave dark spots on the skin after plucking, making the meat look clean and appealing to consumers. This simple detail is what defined the appearance of our food for decades. By the 1960s, this breed had become the cheapest and fastest growing, prompting billionaire Nelson Rockefeller to buy the company and spread its genetics across all 5 continents. Imagine that more than half of the world's chicken today traces its lineage back to this single company. As for the first-place winner, Vantress, his company evolved into Cobb Vantress, one of the genetic kings of the world. The bottom line, every chicken you eat today traces its origins back to either Salio or Vantress. But this journey was not just standard breeding. It was a series of scientific interventions that completely altered the concept of life. After the 1948 competition, the real work began. The cumulative engineering of genetics to transform the chicken into a literal meat machine through 3 steps. First, ruthless selection. The process was not random breeding. The fastest growing birds reproduced, and the slowest were instantly eliminated. The result? A Canadian study revealed that today's chicken weighs 4 times more than a 1950s chicken and produces 3 times more meat using the exact same amount of feed. Second, the eternal daylight trick. Breeders discovered that chickens stop eating in the dark, so the solution was to illuminate the farms for 23 hours a day. Here, night does not exist. A continuous artificial day drives the bird to eat without stopping until it reaches slaughter weight in record time. The chicken in these farms does not know the meaning of night. It lives in an endless artificial day, eating and eating until it reaches slaughter weight. Third, antibiotics as a growth accelerator. In 1948, entirely by accident, scientist Thomas Jukes fed his chicks chemical waste resulting from manufacturing antibiotics. The results were terrifying. The chicks grew at an explosive rate and became a full third larger than their peers. The reason? The antibiotics kill the bacteria in the bird's gut that steal a portion of the nutrients, transforming the chicken into a machine that absorbs 100% of the feed. Instead of being used as a medical treatment, antibiotics were blended directly into daily feed bags, turning this magic powder into a goldmine of profits for corporations and a ticking time bomb inside our bodies. This madness did not stop with chickens. Jukes expanded his experiment to pigs and turkeys, leading major corporations to discover that this magic powder was an inexhaustible goldmine of profits. This is where the dangerous shift occurred. Instead of using antibiotics as a medical treatment, they were blended directly into the feed bags. Farmers began feeding birds antibiotics daily throughout their entire lives, completely without medical supervision. And from that point, the story of the pumped-up chicken that fills our plates today truly began. Here we reach the most terrifying part. Genetic engineering was not just science, it was a war to control the market. The result? Today, only 3 companies on the entire planet control all the chicken we eat. Giants like Aviagen, Cobb Vantress, and Hubbard own chicken genetics as if they were proprietary software codes, having spent billions of dollars to become the sole controllers of this treasure. To protect their secrets, these companies utilize a 4-way crossbreeding system. The chicken on the farm is merely a final product that is impossible to clone. The original genetics are hidden within the grandparent birds inside vaults protected by patents and international laws. Simply put, the farmer does not own his chickens. He merely leases the final version, while the original code remains a secret in the hands of the financial barons. Comprehend the scale of this disaster. Nations do not own their chickens. All nations possess is the right to purchase from these 3 corporations. If exports stopped, or if a single epidemic struck their main breeding facilities, the world would face a protein famine within a few short months. The entire system is an inverted pyramid. At its apex sit only 400,000 purebred birds, controlling the security and food supply of billions of people. Could you ever have imagined that our lives are held hostage by closed rooms managed by just 3 companies? You might think of this as an economic success, but the coin has another side that commercials never show. The truth is, they engineered a chicken that grows at a terrifying speed its own body cannot support. The growth period collapsed from 120 days down to just 30 days, 4 times faster than natural. However, scientists focused entirely on maximizing the meat and breast, neglecting the heart, lungs, and bones. The result? A bird with a giant body but frail internal organs the size of a chick's organs. Imagine a small car engine inside a massive truck that is expected to accelerate at maximum speed. This is exactly what happens as organs struggle to survive under tons of genetically engineered meat. This contradiction has created real disasters. First, cardiac arrest, the sudden death syndrome phenomenon, where chickens suddenly collapse, flap their wings frantically, and die in seconds. The reason? The small heart literally bursts from the strain of pumping blood to that immense mass. Second, the inability to walk. The bird's bones do not have enough time to strengthen, while its breast balloons like a rocket, shifting its center of gravity forward. In some farms, 28% of the chickens suffer from lameness. Helpless birds spend their lives collapsed on their breasts, only reaching water by crawling. They have turned the bird into a prisoner inside its own body. And now, we reach the point that touches you and your family personally. Over time, those overcrowded farms have transformed into military academies for bacteria. The bacteria that survive the antibiotics learn how to defeat them, becoming far more lethal. Recent research warns that commercial chicken has become a resistance reservoir. The moment you handle raw meat or consume it without proper cooking, you might transfer bacteria into your body that have been trained to defeat the most potent medicine. Imagine going to the hospital to treat a simple infection, only for the doctor to stand helpless. Not because your illness is strange, but because the bacteria that infected you have graduated from chicken farms and already know all the secrets of antibiotics beforehand. The World Health Organization did not issue its warning out of nowhere. It classified this phenomenon as one of the top 10 threats to humanity. The chicken industry, which was meant to save humans from starvation, might ultimately be the reason we are stripped of the most powerful medical weapon we have ever known. If you feel that your grandmother's chicken tasted far better than today's chicken, you are not imagining things. And there is a shocking scientific reason for it. The secret of taste lies in a simple equation: fat and time. Authentic flavor requires months to concentrate inside the meat, just like fruit ripening on a tree. In the past, traditional free-range chicken grew slowly, feeding on grains and insects, allowing its muscles to build the amino acids and fats that carry real flavor. As for today's chicken, it reaches slaughter weight in just 35 days. This explosive growth does not give the bird a chance to develop its flavor, turning it into nothing more than a mass of protein and water, without taste or soul. In fact, matters have escalated to a terrifying stage called wooden breast, a condition where the chicken's fibers transform into a hard, fibrous texture due to extreme growth speed. This meat does not absorb seasoning and loses the umami compounds responsible for deliciousness, leaving it bland and tough. The bottom line: the chicken of the past tasted better because, quite simply, it took enough time to actually be a chicken. Imagine this number: the world today produces 79 billion chickens annually, and at this very moment, 33 billion chickens are living on our planet, meaning there are several chickens for every single human on Earth. No one can deny that the white chicken saved millions from hunger and made protein accessible to everyone, a credit that must be given where it is due. However, the price was steep: an antibiotic crisis threatening our future, a global monopoly over our daily bread, and the silent suffering of this creature. And here, the question forces itself: do we need a new chicken of tomorrow contest today? But this time, the winner wouldn't be the fastest growing, but rather the healthiest, the genetically cleanest, and the fairest to both humans and animals alike. Now, my question to you: do you eat commercial white chicken or original free-range chicken? Or have you decided to boycott chicken altogether after what you learned today? If you like this episode, hit like and share it with those you love, so everyone can discover the truth about commercial chicken.